So someone asked me one time, what is heathenry? And I had to stop and ask them, what exactly do you mean by what is heathenry? Like, do you want me to describe like practices, beliefs, something a little bit more abstract? And the person kind of looked at me for a moment, and then he just repeated what he said. What is heathenry? I'm like, okay. Heathenry is the reconstruction and revived practices and or religions of the ancient Germanic peoples ranging from the upper Norwegian peninsula all the way through most of the German speaking world, all the way up to southern parts of southern England. And then they looked at me and they're like, that's a good answer. But what is heathenry? I'm like, okay, what is heathenry? And I had to stop a moment and also think for myself, what is it? What does that mean? What is heathenry? And I looked at the person and I asked him, okay, well, what are you wanting me to clarify for you? Because it sounds like you're wanting clarification on something. Are you wanting to know about whether or not heathenry is about having a relationship with the gods that we worship? Is it having the relationship with the spirits and powers of the land that we live on and cultivate or do our business on or what have you? Or is it about, the relationship we have with one another and how we're supposed to cultivate, community and fellowship and trust and hold each other accountable and be responsible for what we say and what we do because that's what building up good bonds of community is supposed to be about, and being hospitable to not just ourselves but also to guests and outsiders, no matter who they are or what form they may take or how much they impact our lives or help us or don't help us. And the person kind of stopped there and they kind of thought, okay, that's what heathens do, but what is it? I'm like, okay, what is it? Religion, life, culture, 100 different things. Which one do you want me to start pontificating on next? And then the person just kind of stopped and looked at me again. He keeps doing this too, which was starting to grate on my nerves just a little bit here because I felt like he was fishing for something. And then he finally just says, "But is it like answering the question of life and being?" I'm like, "Well, to a degree, but that's personal. You might find that deep within what relationships you have to which gods you believe in. You might find that in whatever prayerful actions you take, or some esoteric practice that you built into your heathenry. It's really something that another person can't answer for you. You have to find it on your own. We can tell you some things that have worked for us. We can show you ways that others have done things and gotten meaning from, but we can't give that meaning to you." And then he looked at me with this look that I had said something both utterly bewildering and completely profound. And then I'm just looking at him like, okay, what the hell are you wanting, dude? And then after a moment, he thanked me and walked on. And then I watched him walk away and I thought, why are Mormon missionaries so fucking weird? But suffice to say, if you're ever in a situation where someone starts asking you about the who and the how and the why, take a moment and kind of go through things like I just told you, just like I just walked you through right here, right now. Because that's what I just did. I took you through a scenario where someone who might not or might not be fishing for a specific answer is looking to dig into your heathenry and kind of find the flaws in your belief in your religion and use them to try and work you over one. But when you approach it like I do, where instead of there being one right answer, there are multiple answers because this is an essay and a multiple choice exam here, where the answers are neither right nor wrong, it befuddles the other person who might be looking for something or trying to get you to say a certain thing. That way they can launch into whatever point that they have. And at the same time, it also makes them stop and think. Stop and think about where they're getting whatever answers they've received from whatever religious practice they have. Or whatever lack thereof. Something to think about.